The Woman in the Yard hit theaters last week, tackling deep themes and a semi-unique approach to daytime horror, I find. But should you be rushing to see it in theaters? Probably not. It's a pretty mid-tier film. While I don't usually give rankings, if I had to, I'd say this one's around a 6.5 out of 10. That said, I did enjoy it though. It's a decent movie overall. So today I want to break down The Woman in the Yard with spoilers, by the way, and discuss why I think it was worth the watch. So if you're planning on seeing it, now's the time to leave and come back later. If not, let's get into it. The Woman in the Yard follows Ramona, a grieving widow left to care for her 2 children alone in their family farmhouse after her husband's death. Her sadness turns into terror when a mysterious woman in black appears on her front lawn, ominously warning her today's the day. I hated this in the trailer. I thought it didn't really come off that creepy. Came off a lot better for me in the movie though. Still not finding it creepy though. Anyways, as the movie unfolds, the eerie figure inches closer and closer to the house, forcing Ramona to protect her children from an evil presence that refused to leave. The film opens up with Ramona, played by Danielle Deadwyler, laying in bed, watching a video of her late husband. She's drowning in grief, and much like her broken leg, her life feels fractured. This theme of emotional and physical brokenness runs throughout the entire film, reinforcing her depressive state. Her son, Taylor, played by Peyton Jackson, enters the room to talk to her. The cinematography here is noteworthy. Taylor is blurred in the background, a voice muffled as if heard underwater. This visually reinforces Ramona's self-isolation, trapped in her own world of sorrow. Without playing a psychologist too much, the film does do a great job of portraying the cycle of grief and depression. Ramona is stuck in a feedback loop, desperately replaying painful memories while the rest of the world fades away. Her emotional state manifests in her interactions. She lashes out at her own children over small, insignificant things, like her daughter using a knife, or the way she writes the capital R backwards. Even their dog, Charlie, he suffers, throwing up from being fed Dorito scrambled eggs from her son, but that's because Ramona has neglected to go grocery shopping and there's no dog food. It's clear to everyone but Ramona that she's spiraling, and even if she recognizes it, she isn't really doing anything about it. A side note, Dorito scrambled eggs are disgusting. I don't care what age you are. I can see the little girl doing this, but you're like, I think he's like 15 or 14 or something like that. He's close enough to be driving, so around 16 years old. Why are you making stuff like this? Then the woman in the yard appears, and as she looms over, getting closer and closer, strange occurrences begin. Like any good supernatural horror, the film builds tension like a ticking time bomb. The sun dips lower, shadows stretch, which is the main power of the woman in the yard, using shadows to manipulate the surroundings. And the family's unraveling escalates. Their isolation is heightened by more practical obstacles. The electricity is out. Then there's Tyler's phone, which is broken, likely due to an argument with his mother. He smashed it. And the nearest house is miles away. They can't just call for help. They're truly on their own. One of my many initial concerns was the movie's heavy use of daytime horror. About 70% of the film takes place during the day, with the final 30% shifting to night. I expected this to kind of lessen the tension, thinking that most horror movies, like, they really live off of that darkness, off of that shadows, not being able to see a lot, but knowing that something's there. Surprisingly though, this didn't really affect me that much. While I don't think it added much, it also didn't take away the horror like I feared, and it was an interesting stylistic choice. Worked with the story, and I respect the risk. Back to the story, tensions escalate when Taylor, frustrated with the inaction, grabs his father's gun, determined to confront the woman in black in the yard. Before this, he locks Ramona in a room after another heated argument. At this point, Ramona is losing her grip on reality. She even entertained the thoughts of harming her daughter, stabbing her right in the back. Taylor, desperate, proposes a pretty logical plan in my opinion. He wants to drive to the neighboring farm to get help. But Ramona, hiding the fact that the car won't start, shuts it down. With no other option, Taylor suggests another plan: to walk 2 miles to help. still believing the woman in the yard is just a mentally ill patient from a nearby facility at the time. Obviously, she's not, and Ramona shuts down that idea too. Taylor finally faces the woman himself wielding his father's gun, and she reveals the truth about his father's death. Big reveal, Ramona lied. It wasn't his father driving that night like she had told him, it was Ramona. After an argument in the restaurant about her unhappiness with their life on the farm, this leads her into the car angrily where she loses control. In a chilling flashback, we see the woman in black from the yard in the rearview mirror, distracting Ramona and leading to the fatal crash. This revelation shifts everything. The woman from the yard has been haunting Ramona for just a little bit longer than we all realized. This triggers a supernatural explosion event. Furniture flies, appliances short circuit, and the chaos erupts, signaling the start of the film's climax. The sun sets and the woman from the yard influence grows stronger. Shadows twist and stretch throughout the house, creeping toward the family. In a desperate attempt to escape, they barricade themselves in the attic, arguably the worst place to hide, but at this point, they're out of options. What follows is a frantic and disorientating final confrontation. Ramona and her children swing metal objects at the entity. There's flashing lights from a single flashlight that's just ominous and a little seizure-inducing. And at one point, Ramona is literally absorbed into the shadows, and you can see her shadow figure reaching out, trapped, desperate to try and get out, frantically looking for a way to break her free. The woman then absorbs Annie, Ramona's daughter, played by Estella Cahaya. Ramona is free again, but she's lost Annie and is now desperate, and her fears deepens. In a surrealist sequence, Ramona rushes toward a portal that will take her to the woman's world. During this, Ramona relives the past from a new perspective through the eyes of the woman in the yard. She sees herself, her family, and spends time with her husband from the moment in the video at the start of the film. And then finally, she becomes face to face with the woman from the yard, her tormentor, only to realize that the woman in the yard is a manifestation of her own psyche. She did not just summon this entity, it's a part of her. The woman asks, "What did you pray for?" Ramona insists it was for the strength to carry on after David's death, but in reality, she had prayed for the strength to end her own life. The woman in the yard, an extension of her suicidal thoughts, was merely answering the prayer. In the final moments, the woman guides Ramona to the barn after helping her essentially shoo away her kids so they wouldn't have to witness this, believing that this was best for the kids as well, encouraging her to end it. And just as she's about to pull the trigger, the children and the long absent dog Charlie return, breaking the entity's hold. The woman disappears. When her children ask if the woman will return, Ramona assures them that she'll be ready if she does. The camera lingers on a sign in front of the farmhouse that's labeled Iris Heaven before panning to the house, revealing an unfinished painting. This painting depicts Ramona and the woman from the yard merging together, with the R in Ramona's name spelled backwards, implying she's now trapped in the mirror world, or basically that she lost that battle and in reality she did take her own life, and that the happy-go-lucky ending that we're seeing isn't actually real but some sort of self-created heaven. She walks with the children into the home and the lights and power are back on, which why would they come back on at that hour of the night? It's, I guess, for us to believe that, hey, because the ghost is gone, things are back to normal. But I think in reality, coupled with the brand new sign that says Iris Haven when we'd never seen it before, it's not actually there. The final twist took me a while to process. I didn't even catch it at first. It hit me a little while after while I was driving, but I think this is probably the most concrete answer, that the backward R symbolizes or tells us to circumvent what we're actually seeing and imagine the complete opposite of it. And that this ending that we're seeing isn't really what's happening to most people. And that the reality is, for most people, the reverse is more likely. It's a bit of a confusing ending. I'm not even sure I'm correct, but this is the way that I'm seeing it. Maybe you have a different interpretation of it. Let me know in the comments down below. So all that being said, despite its flaws, these are the reasons why I think The Woman in the Yard, is pretty good and delivers an intriguing atmospheric horror experience that touches on some real hard topics. It's not groundbreaking necessarily, but it's worth a watch if you're in the mood for something a little different. But you can wait to watch it at home in the comfort of your own house. And that's it for the video. If you enjoyed, you'll love the next one coming up. But until then, like, comment, and share this out.